Welcome back to Pit Motoring TV. Something a bit different this week. Now, weather's getting better, sun's shining, we all wouldn't mind getting out, putting the roof down and having a little drive, but not all of us can afford a convertible. This is where this comes in. This week we're going to be taking a look at the Vauxhall Tigra. Now these have dropped dramatically in price and you can pick up a Minter for about 1,500 quid. That's right, £1,500. What other two-seater convertible with an electric folding roof can you find for 1,500 quid? But what's it like to drive? So that's what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be taking a look at the Vauxhall Tigra and seeing if it's any good and if it's worth buying for a cheap two-seater convertible. So carry on watching and we'll get into it. It's a bit different this week. Past couple of weeks we've had a few decent cars. We've had the Mercedes, we had the Focus ST last week, we had the Corsa VXR a few weeks ago. But like I say, something a bit different today. This is a sport model. It's the 1.4 petrol. Has 88 brake horsepower. It's not the fastest thing in the world. 115 mile an hour top speed. 0 to 60, 12 seconds. If you want a bit more frugal, you can get this in a 1.3 litre CDTI. That'll average yourself between 60 to 70 miles to the gallon, and the remapping capabilities of those are absolutely incredible. They get good power, they get good torque, and they still remain really fuel efficient. Now the 0 to 60 time on the diesel isn't the greatest. It's 0 to 60 in 15 seconds. Yeah, that's right, it's like a hearse. But the one that I'd go for is the 1.8 litre petrol. Vauxhall Tigra, based on the 2000 Corsa C. It's a good chassis. The Corsa C was a good car. Now with this, you get the same 1.4 litre twin port petrol engine as you do in the Corsa C. Same with the 1.8 and the 1.3 CDTI. But aesthetically and the styling wise, it looks a little bit different. It's a bit of a mismatch from Vauxhall, I think. It's on a Corsa C chassis, but it's got the later Mark 5 Mark 6 Astra H headlights sort of style. You get the 17-inch Penta style alloy wheels, which in my own look the best on these cars. They look great. You got the nice little bits of trim, colour-coded wing mirrors. Styling wise it looks nice, but the only problem is the performance. You get some like the MX-5 that we had the other week. You're looking at maybe 3, 4, 5 grand for an MX-5 like that. Now, it might be a manual roof or an electric roof. These are electric, and for less than 1,500 quid, you'd be a bit wrong in the head not to take a look at them and not to consider it. Compared to the 206cc, they're a bit more fuel efficient, there's more space, and you get more boot space. With the roof up, you've got a 455 litre boot, which is bigger than the 206cc. And with the roof down, you've still got 285 litres of space, which is, again, more than the 206cc. So let's take a look at the interior. So then, what they're like on the inside. I mean, they are based on the Corsa, but the interior, it's a bit more updated, and they are again a bit mismatched. It's got the Corsa C dials, but the stereo unit and the centre console look like it's from the Corsa D and the Astra. You get this nice little bit accents of silver around. It's not too bad. Steering wheel's nice. Driving position wise, it's a very good driving position. There is no adjustability in the steering wheel though, so if you are a bit taller and a long legged, you might find it a bit of a struggle to find a comfortable driving position. But I mean, everything is really nice. It's not, as you'd expect from a cheap 2005 Vauxhall, it's all scratchy plastics, nothing soft. The seats are nice and comfortable, they're quite huggy. They're not bucket type seats, but not really sporty, but they do hug you a little bit. So obviously when you do go into the corners, you're not going to be rolling around everywhere. Storage wise, you've got a decent sized glove box, little coin tray down here. There is no cup holders. The door pocket bins are really shallow and narrow, but you do get a nice decent little bit of storage behind the seats. That's good for storing things, that's not too bad. But the reason why anybody will buy a two-seater convertible is to drive it. So I think the main and most important thing is to get it out on the road and see how it drives. But I'm just going to have a quick look, see what it's like to drive. Now, this might sound a bit daft, but it drives very Corsa-like, even though it is based on the Vauxhall Corsa. Smooth over bumps, it rides well, it's not harsh like some two-seater sports cars that you can get, which I think is a good thing. It's nice and smooth and comfortable, so obviously if you are of an older generation, it's going to be quite comfortable for you. The seats are quite comfortable. It'll start. The steering's really light though. There's one thing that I don't really like about the steering. You don't feel connected, you don't feel, there's no weight to it, it's too light, and you just lose that sense of connection with the road. So obviously, I mean, you lose a bit of confidence in the handling of the car. Now don't get me wrong, putting it through bends, it does go around them pretty well. It's not the best, I mean, it's like any Corsa really, it's not going to be fantastic round corners. I mean, you can improve that. I mean, I've seen a few of these being modified. You can get the coilovers, lowering suspension, things like that, different wheels and tyre setups. Now, that's one way to improve the handling. I mean, along with that, you do reduce the ride quality a little bit. But, I mean, generally it drives really well. But, I mean, for 1,500 quid and less, I mean, I'll pop a little thing up in a bit, but I had a quick look on Auto Trader, and there's some of these going from between 500 quid and 1,500 quid. I mean, this one I'm in today, thank you to the guys at Butcher's Bargain Car Sales at Scarborough, which they have a reasonable amount of cheap used cars. They've got this in at just over £1,000, I think, but 1,200 quid for a two-seater convertible with an electric folding roof. You can't go wrong. I mean, the 1.4 petrol we're in today, that'll average between 35 and 45 miles to the gallon. It's not the fastest. I mean, it's an 88 brake horsepower 1.4 litre petrol, 16 valve. It'll do 0 to 60 in 12 seconds, and like I said earlier on in the video, the more frugal and fuel efficient diesel, that's just like a barge. It's like 0 to 60 in 15 seconds. Now, if I was to get one of these, or if you're looking for a recommendation, I'd definitely look for one with a 1.8 litre petrol. It's the same 1.8 litre that's in the Corsa C SRI and the Vauxhall Astras. Now, it's a bit more power, it's 125 brake horsepower, 0 to 60s in just over 9 seconds, which is a bit more sporty for a two-seater convertible. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So guys, we've been out for a drive, we've had a look around it, and what do we think? Speed? No, it's not going to do it for you. Go for something else. Practicality? It's not bad, it's pretty good. Decent sized boot, decent sized interior storage, it's comfortable, plenty of room for the passengers. Fuel economy? Very good. It's cheap to run, it'd be cheap to insure. It's £170 a year road tax. Now, for the price, if you're on a budget and you just after something for cruising with the roof down, buy a Tigra or a 206cc, depending which one you prefer the styling of. For me personally, I prefer this. But if you're after something quicker, sportier, I wouldn't even look at it. It's not going to tick your boxes for performance wise. You want to go something for like an MX-5. But that's it for this week here on Pit Motoring TV. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn that little bell notification so you don't miss another video. Hopefully got a few new cars coming onto the channel in the next few weeks, so keep your eyes peeled for those. Don't forget to turn that bell notification on, and then you know just about when there's an upload. So see you next week.